Welcome! Welcome, I am Halcyon. It is Monday at 1 o'clock. It is time for HugNation. It is time for HugNation wherever and whenever you are. It is a vibration, a consensual intention of love, of community, of reflection to one another of our highest selves. So thank you for reflecting, for feeling this vibration, this realignment to your highest selves, to your truth. That process of realignment to your truth is the most profound activism you can do in the world, because it will lay the groundwork and show the way and pull you in the direction so that you can be of highest service to the world. The difference between your highest good and the highest good are negligible. So today, I wanted to talk about fear of missing out, FOMO. Right now, the South by Southwest Festival is going on in Austin, and for many years, I participated at South by Southwest, actively, aggressively, flamboyantly. And I was a speaker on several panels. I used to host the Web Awards. I was on the steering committee for a while. And it was a huge part of my identity, especially in the professional world. I mean, there were so many people, especially in the early days of this event, that it was a very special time. That the web was not a universal thing. Not everybody was online. Not everybody had an email address. Not everybody was putting things on the web. That was a fringe thing to do, to actually publish on the web. The way we live now, with everybody sharing their lives on a daily basis through updates and posting pictures, was dramatic, extreme, crazy, and kind of weird in the eyes of the default world, 10 years ago. 10 years ago? Maybe less than that. Well, how long was I going? 2000? I don't know. Yeah, 10 years ago? I'm not good with math. This isn't a test. Stop judging me. So, in the early days, I made these connections with these people who were really drawn to this gathering out of passion and a belief in this new medium and this world-changing potential. And a lot of those people went on to create significant companies that either made lavish amounts of money for the people involved or changed the landscape of the world and the internet. I can remember giving a ride from the airport to Evan Williams, who is a creator, or the founder or one of the co-founders of Twitter, blogger and Medium, and famous people who are now very famous bloggers, and people who are, well, just impressive people. So it's no surprise that the people who were so passionate and brilliant then went on to do these impressive things. And over the years, my passion for technology got less and less, and my passion for the potential of technology got greater. And so I got more passionate about the message of HugNation and less about creating a site that could host HugNation. And so I continued to go to South by Southwest for a while and reconnect with these friends, but I more and more I felt like, wow, I'm not who this is for so much anymore. And I had I think it was 6 years ago, when there was a moment when I had to decide. It was either going to go to South by Southwest, where I had a ticket and I was scheduled to speak on a panel. It was overlapping with an event called it was called Fuente at the time, now called Leyenda, which is a festival in Mexico, which is magical, and I kept hearing all these beautiful things about it, but I could never go because they overlapped. And I had a real challenging chapter where I was like, okay, this one is clearly the best thing to do professionally. The contacts, the networking, I have this reputation there. It just meeting and connecting with people that know me in that realm is good for my consulting work and whatever future work I want to do. I mean, the more popular that event got, the better it was that I was well known there. And then there was this event that I'd never been to that was more in the Burning Man community, more in the spiritual realm, my spiritual realm. And I made the decision to go to Mexico and skip Austin. And it was very difficult for me because it seemed contrary to logic and what I'd taught about keeping your options open and the right way to be a success. And what happened was I had a profound experience in the amidst all of these amazing people and this music and the setting in this festival, and had all these conversations, these synchronicity moments where people reflected back to me the role that I had played in their path. And so it was, I heard it as this loud and clear message that I made the right choice and that I needed to invest more of my energy into this part of myself, the HugNation, the speaking, the writing, the seeker part of my world, and make that more maybe of my professional world. And so I went in that direction. And each year when South by Southwest happens, I get this FOMO, this fear of missing out. And it's broad. It's not just that I miss seeing my friends that I knew back then. There's also this fear of like, I'm missing out on this lifestyle and this kind of in crowd of the technology world that I used to be a part of, and maybe missing out on, the thrill of some financial things. And maybe if I would have applied myself and started a company back then, maybe who knows what my life would have been like, good or bad. And then the other part of it that's challenging is now South by Southwest has become a phenomenon. And I see people posting about the stars that are there, the huge big name celebrities, musicians and actors, and this technology, music, film that are all separate parts of that conference, but integrate more and more. And so this celebrity culture is fusing. And I think, oh man, if I would have kept going, I would have been the in crowd of this cool people and probably met all these famous people. And that is not a healthy way to think. And it's been interesting as I see people tweeting about this party or that party or this cool new thing or that cool new thing, and I see pictures of people that I miss so much, like I haven't seen them in forever and I love them, and then I have to remind myself of the choices I've made and how wonderful they've been. And the other thing I have to remember is that everything is relative. I go back to the experience that I had many years ago when someone reminded me, as I was frustrated about not getting attention for an event that I had done, and they said, you're so focused on getting more followers, more attentions, more eyeballs, that you're not in touch with the ones who are right there listening to your message and totally get it. And I had this visual of myself in a small, bar or tiny little neighborhood club where I was playing a guitar, which I don't play the guitar, but go with me on the metaphor, playing a guitar and having the dance floor just packed with people, the small dance floor packed with 20, 30 people who were dancing and singing along to my songs. And that magical connection. And if that was a parallel to where I was in my writing and speaking in HugNation, while I was on stage, having this potential for this magical connection, what I was thinking about was, man, I wish I was playing a stadium. And I realized that that's the trap. If you ever get too attached, or you ever let yourself forget the trap of magnitude, then you will always be chasing that thing. And that if you are ever in a situation where you're connecting with an individual, with another person, if you have a expression to share, a song in your heart, words, a hug, and the other persons is feeling it and truly getting it, that is the grandest gift, the grandest expression, the grandest achievement that we can seek and we can have. And if once you have that experience of expressing from the heart and it being received, that gift, reception, magic, then it's just a matter of magnitude. And so whether it's 10 people in the audience or 100 people in the audience or thousands of people, it's the same experience unless you get caught up in that more, which is very easy to do. And so when I do forget, I sometimes forget about how blessed and how lucky I have been to be at the right place in the right time and to have had a path in my life where I actually do get to connect with people from my stage and my guitar. And sometimes there's 100 people there. And sometimes there's more. And sometimes I'm walking the street and somebody actually recognizes me because of something that I've produced that touched them. Now, if I don't treasure that because I wish there was 100 people following me to my hotel room and as paparazzi, then I am sick. This week, as I was like frustrated about all these things, I went to this trade show about food, and somebody was there working was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't speak. I'm so tired. Like I've been following you since back in your studs video and da, 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 da." And it was like, and we had this cool interaction, and it was like, wow, what a magical result of the way I've lived my life. And that any moment that I spend pining for another life or a more popular or a bigger fan space it's a trap and it's poison. And I was really lucky to end this week with First Saturdays. The morning of the event, I had a bunch of work to do the weekend and I was really stressed. And then with being there 10 minutes and hugging people, and we had 85 volunteers. We had a crew of people from a local college, and we had this kids corps group, and we had all these parents, and we had a soccer team, a girls soccer team was there with their coach, and I just felt so blessed that I played a small role in pulling these people together. Now, could I fall into the trap of like, oh, we need to, open in more cities, we need to make a bigger difference? Yeah, that's an easy trap to fall into. Or I can go, this is the result of acting in integrity, and it's perfect. The perfect cherry on the perfect sundae was when a little boy named Ray ran up to me after we gathered and handed me a check that he'd collected. Instead of gifts for his birthday, he had asked people to donate money that he could then give to charities. And so he gave me a check for $200. And this is not the first time this has happened at First Saturdays. We've had a little boy named Noah who was there this weekend and was super active, and he kept asking me questions. He was like, "Can I bring toothpaste next time?" And it was so cool, not just to see this generosity from a child, but also to have the opportunity to applaud and exalt and try to do everything possible to make this beautiful little child feel amazing because of the act that they did. And so we called his name at the end of it, and we cheered, and he was so excited. He was like, that, I want this person to know how amazing it can feel to do good and to feel like you're a good person in the world. There's still a lot about fear of missing out that I want to work on. and that I want to heal in my patterns and my thoughts, because I notice that there are situations and experiences that I don't do because it requires a amount of stillness and commitment. Like if I'm at Burning Man or if I'm at a festival, there's so many amazing things happening that I often don't do any of them. I'm not complaining, because there's nothing I love more than just riding around on my bike in circles, until I get exhausted. Big circles, so I can see a lot of things. But people say, oh, did you see this talk? I'm like, you know what, like sitting down for an hour, that FOMO kicks in and I go, I gotta go do something else. Or if there's a line for something incredible, I'm like, I can't wait in that line, there's so much else. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but I think it relates to something that comes up here all the time and is kind of one of my current classrooms, is trying to embrace stillness more so that I can choose to ride the bike instead of doing so from a frantic anxiety place. I can choose that I want to spend an hour, invest an hour, because it's not just at a festival that I ride around in circles for an hour and miss an amazing dance performance. It's also when I'm in front of my computer and I'm riding around in circles on Facebook and my email and Twitter, and I don't sit down and write or focus on updating something that has been gnawing at me. That circles, that path of constant stimulation, in some ways it's the way I deal with fear of missing out, and yet it is the cause of missing out on deeper experiences. So I, in some ways, so wish that I was in Austin right now, hugging people, meeting new people, being cool. And in other ways, I'm so grateful that I'm here right now, in this moment, with you. Maybe you went to South by Southwest and you're watching this on archive, in which case you did both. You win! And we all win. If you are walking your walk and shining your light, we all win. So thank you. And thank you for taking the time to listen and be and reflect this vibration and this recognition. Let's take a moment to have a hug. Grab yourself by the shoulders and let go of whatever to-do list, whatever undone, whatever event you're missing, and just know that you are perfect. You are right where you're supposed to be. And as the people in this chat room prove, and the people who watch this archive prove, no matter what you hear on the news, there are crowds of people in the audience dancing to the same songs, singing along to these lyrics of love, of compassion and kindness. And the more you dance and sing, the more you give permission to others to let their light shine. Let's take 3 breaths together. In through the nose, pause, and then out through the mouth. Ready? On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all the love warriors, happy Hug Nation. Thank you. I love you. Namaste.